Business Intelligence Development Studio, or BIDS for short, is the environment we use to create analysis services databases. Using that tool, we work in the context of solutions and projects, just like we would when developing applications in Visual Studio. When we create a new project in BIDS, we can choose from two possible project types. We can use the Analysis Services project to build a project from scratch, and that project will be empty, and then we build out each object individually, usually using wizards to get us started. If an analysis services database is already deployed to the server, we can import the database objects and have BIDS reverse engineer the design and create all the objects in the project for us. Regardless of which option we use, there are several different types of project items that we have in an analysis services project. We have a data source item to define how to connect to an OLADB source that we want to use in multiple packages. If we need to change a server or database name, then we have only one place to make the change in BIDS. Another project item is the data source view. The data source view represents the dimensional model, and everything we build into the database relies on the definitions of the data structures that we define in the data source view. We'll learn more about the data source view, or DSV, in the next module of this course. A project will have at least one cube file in it, and at least one dimension, although most cubes have multiple dimensions. We also have at least one role file that we use for setting user access permissions. All of the management tasks that we need to perform to keep analysis services running can be performed by using SQL Server Management Studio. Here we can access server properties that determine how the server uses system resources. We can also use Object Explorer to see the databases deployed to the server and explore the objects contained within each database. We can view object properties and, in some cases, make changes to object properties. We can create scripts of the definition of objects so that we can reproduce the structures in another database or on another server. Management Studio also gives us a way to quickly check data, either in the cube itself or in individual dimensions. We can also use the MDX query window to write and execute queries that retrieve data from the cube. And we have the XMLA query window to write and execute scripts. We can use scripts to create, alter, or drop database objects, and also to process objects. We'll cover processing in more detail later, but essentially processing is the way that we get data loaded into our analysis services database. We can put scripts into integration services packages to automate their execution, or we can put them into SQL Server agent jobs. We can also manually process objects here in Management Studio whenever necessary, either individual dimensions, a cube, as shown here, or an entire database. When we're ready for users to access analysis services, they can choose from a variety of tools. We'll look at our choices within the Microsoft BI stack, but there are lots of third-party options to consider, and of course we can create a custom application if we want specific functionality. Excel is a very common choice for browsing a cube since users often already are using Excel for other reasons, and have some exposure to pivot tables. Excel provides an easy-to-use interface to select dimensions for browsing, but offers advanced functionality for filtering and sorting and what-if analysis. Reporting services is an option when users need to review information but are doing less exploration of the data. In the Advanced Reporting Services course, I explain how to work with analysis services as a data source for reports. SharePoint can use analysis services as a data source for status indicators and for dashboard filters. And then with Performance Point services, we can create scorecards and dashboards that use analysis services as a data source.